Thank you so much for watching Riff TV. Now, this interview is obviously with video, but I don't interview everybody on Zoom. That's why I put it on my Talkin' Rock with Meltdown podcast. We talk to rock artists from all over the genre. So check out Talkin' Rock with Meltdown wherever you get your podcasts. And now to today's video interview. Snake, how you doing, brother?
I look like I just got my head done with a hedge clipper. I just kind of walked out of bed. So I'm doing great though. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We're waiting for Rachel, so we thought we'd just get started. It's kind of funny. This has been like we were supposed to talk last week. I got an email somewhere along the line saying we were supposed to talk today. I don't know what's going on, but we finally made the connection here in a snowy, wintry Detroit day.
Yeah, man, I feel you. It's this last few days have been pretty rough with the weather, man. Traveling and stuff. So yeah, we're in the middle of it too, buddy. You're not alone.
Yeah, you had to cancel a date over the weekend, didn't you, because of the weather, right?
Well, we actually, thankfully, were able to postpone it. We're going to go back in September and make that date up. So it's not a complete loss. We felt terrible, but it was impossible to get there. Absolutely impossible. All the major roads are closed, and then the roads that aren't closed were all iced up. And you know what? We hate missing shows. It's terrible. Hate it. But we also have to put the safety of everybody at the top of the list of what to be concerned about. And after going through every existing option, to turn out there was no options for us to be able to get there.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for a long time. Do you still like the tour life?
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's ups and downs with all of it, as with any job in life. But I've got some of my best friends out here, and we all get along so well, and we're all so appreciative of the fact that we get to do this night in and night out. And we're just a lucky group of people who are really humbled by the idea of still doing this after 36 years of being a band, and people still wanting to see us and people responding to our new music. It's been just this last year has just been phenomenal for us as a band.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the last year because, of course, was it around this time last year that you guys brought Erik into the fold?
It was late February, early March. Yeah. So he's been in the band for about a year, a little over a year now.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, what the first year, how was it like for him and for you guys?
Oh, here comes.
Yeah, here comes Rachel. Yeah, there he is.
I think I'm here.
Ah, there he is with the blank screen. Yeah.
All right, what's going on here?
There you go.
There he is.
So sorry. I thought we were in Eastern time zone.
That's what Snake said. That's fine. That's no big deal. Dude, we've screwed up this interview time a bunch of times already. I think it was my fault last week. I don't know. I saw an email somewhere that said we got to move it to Monday. I can't find that email. But anyways, we were just talking, Rachel, before you got on about it's been just about almost a year to the day since Erik's joined the band. So tell everybody how things have gone for the last year.
Well, being that he's sitting right here, I got to say something nice. No, it's actually it's gone great, man. I can't. Here, look. There he goes. Hi.
There he is.
No, you don't have to do. Yeah, everything's gone great, man. It's considering the way it all came together, things could have gone terribly wrong, but they did it, and we got a great record out of it, and we've been doing killer shows.
Yeah, the record is awesome. I've told you guys this before. I love it. Tear It Down is probably my favorite October song. I love Hell or High Water. I mean, it's just some great stuff. And it's funny because at the beginning of the year last year, you probably didn't know what the future brought. And here we are now in 2023. And you guys have dates booked throughout the entire year.
Yeah, it's really, really been amazing. The whole process, the whole writing of the record, getting together with Nick Raskulinecz was just like a godsend. Having to make some really difficult decisions regarding singer position, and then just going with our gut and realizing that we need to make a change. So we did, and we kind of looked at each other for a moment, like, what are we doing? And as it turned out, uh, it worked out to be better than we ever could have imagined. With when Erik joined the band, it felt like we had known him for decades. It wasn't anything weird. There wasn't anything complicated about it. It was just a really cool guy coming into a band and then being able to perform at such a high level, raising our game. And also the positive aspect that he brings to the table is infectious. So we're all, I think, better people and better players and a better band because of it.
Yeah. And I noticed, I saw you guys have, some dates opening up for Kiss. And Rachel, that was your first concert back in 1977. I saw on your Instagram a few months back. You guys have opened up for Kiss before, but what is it like opening up for a band that you guys idolize so much like that?
Like 12-year-old me. We got these dates. 12-year-old me.
No, you're kind of muddled there, Rachel. You got your phone in a pile of clothes or something.
No, how about now? Good.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah. When we got these new Kiss dates, the 12-year-old me is kind of freaking out pretty hard. Again, I think we're one of probably the only band that could say we're playing both their farewell tours. But it's so exciting to go out with a band, especially just zeroing in on Gene Simmons. He's the reason I even picked up a bass in the first place. He's the reason why I learned what a bass was. I had no idea, and it's a pretty great feeling to be asked to do something like this, and just it now that they're down to their final 50 shows, and to know we will be doing about a decent amount of them, a big chunk of them is it's hard to kind of process. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I was a huge Ozzy fan growing up. I saw his last tour back in 1992 or whatever it was. And here we are all these years later, of course. So these guys keep pushing us back. Snake, what was your first show?
It was Kiss. It was December 16th, 1977 at Madison Square Garden. And that's the day that my life was completely changed. And I walked in there as one person and I walked out a completely different person. I was absolutely blown away by what I had just witnessed. It was the most insane experience of my life. And especially being 13 years old, to sit there and to be able to experience something like that, the enormity of it, the how bombastic it was incomprehensible. And so when I got home, I knew that I was going to do something in the music business. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't play an instrument. I had no clue. But a year later, I picked up the guitar, and nothing's changed since then. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted to do from the 7th grade in high school.
Now, Rachel, that wasn't the same show you saw, was it? Was it or
No? It was same week. I saw them he saw them at the Garden. I saw them at the Philly Spectrum on the 22nd of December. And where'd Scotty see them? Nassau, Snake?
Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, same week. We all saw them same week. Had no idea that 30 some odd years later, or whatever it is, we were going to put a band together.
Yeah. Well, I think way more than 30, but yeah, that's unbelievable. Speaking of Madison Square Garden, I just saw a story today that Billy Joel said that he'd like to take back 25% of his songs. Do you guys feel that way about any of your writings?
Not really.
No.
What do you like? He'd like to take it back, like throw them in the garbage?
Yeah, he says he wasn't crazy about it. 25%. I thought that was a lot.
No. We didn't write as many songs as Billy Joel. So our percentage is a lot lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Hey, today is 313 day, of course, March 13th, and we're here in Detroit, and that's the pretty much the area code for Detroit. So tell me something about Detroit that rings true with you guys. I know that you guys travel around the country and you go to a lot of cities and whatnot, but just being Kiss fans and stuff, and I mean, just what's your connection with Detroit?
Well, I mean, Detroit. Let's start with the music. Let's start with Motown. Let's start all the greatness there. then move on to Iggy Pop, MC5. The list goes on. And being a Kiss fan, like Michigan itself, because the whole Pontiac thing that they did, they're like the sons of Michigan. So there's always been a connection for every Kiss fan with Michigan, Detroit in particular. So whenever we go there, I think me personally, I think of Detroit Rock City right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of the city's theme song, I would imagine. And I don't know, it's always been a really special place for us. We've always had really good shows there and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Snake, what do you got?
Well, much like Rachel said, there's such a great history of music there, and the Motown thing, I think, for me is the one that really does it. That had such a huge influence on me growing up, and I just love that they called it Hitsville, USA, and it truly was. And you look at the amount of amazing songs and the most amazing artists, but often what gets forgotten is their session players were just they were the best. Like, they were the top of the mountain. And so all those bands with those session musicians, like the Four Tops and the Jackson Five and the Temptations and Marvin Gaye and the Supremes, it's such an incredible catalog of great music that I think still has an influence on me today, whether it be from a melody standpoint or chord changing standpoint, things like that, harmonies in some way. It had such an indelible imprint on my life growing up that still exists to this day.
Now, you guys, like you said, you have a lot of stuff coming up here in 2023 with concerts and tours and whatnot. But I think I read somewhere that you guys are working on some new music. I know the new record just dropped back in just last year. But are you guys working on some stuff? You got some ideas kicking around?
Yeah, we do, and which is really odd for us because, in case you don't know it, Skid Row usually takes a long time between records. But we have stuff, riffs that we're working on now, and even there's a few complete songs that we want Nick to listen to, but we've never started this early in an album cycle ever started writing for the next record, but there's a lot of creativity going on right now, so we're not taking any of it for granted.
Yeah, I remember talking to you guys when you guys were writing this record before you put it out or whatever. But you said Nick kind of told you guys to go back to back to the roots of what Skid Row really was. And of course, you guys were there. But when you're working with a younger guy like Erik, does he have maybe a little bit of an older soul and was able to capture some of that?
He's got an old soul. He definitely has an old soul. His influences through the course of his growing up are very, very similar to ours, whether it's 50s music, like the Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis era, James Brown era, to the 60s, to the 70s. So for us, when we started to get to know him, it was such an easy fit. And I think that he sees those influences the same way we do. And I forgot what the question was.
Rachel,
he definitely has, like Nick was saying, we have a lot of the same influences. I think, me personally, his influences go further back than a lot of mine do, as far as a lot of the 50s stuff. But it's really cool to see. His dad is a musician, and so he was turned on to a lot of really cool stuff. And that was kind of like us with our brothers and older brothers and sisters. They turned us on to a lot of cool stuff. So it worked out really well that we have a guy that has such a vast, a really wide palette as far as taste for music goes.
Now, you guys are playing here at the Motor City Casino Soundboard. That's really a cool room. Have you guys played there before?
I don't think so.
No, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a much nicer Forge from Joliet. It's like this.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
same kind of design and stuff. So you guys are going to be playing there coming up on Wednesday. And by the way, real fast, this 18 in Life contest. Tell me about that and how that started.
Well, our management was taking notice in how many people just cover the song in general online, and we always get people always send us stuff, and we're like, man, this is really cool. Some people are doing really unique versions of the song and really creative. And someone in management said, man, you guys should do a contest. Let's see how many we could get. And how many submissions have we had so far, Snake? What do you say?
Over
Like 5,000.
Oh, okay.
How much?
5,000.
Yeah.
Is that what it was, Snake?
Over 5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, to see. And we've seen a ton of them. We haven't seen 5,000 of them yet, but we've seen a ton of them, and they're yeah. I wish I knew the whole plan for it, but I kind of checked out after I thought the idea was really cool. so we it's. I've saw a lot. I've seen a lot of really cool submissions, versions of that song.
Yeah, I saw Scotty the other day kind of showing people how to play it and stuff like
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Not being a musician at all, but Snake, have you been impressed by the selections you've been getting?
I saw a band consisting of a family siblings that ranged from the age of 9 to 12 playing it last night. And they had learned it that day. And this little 9-year-old kid is singing, and he's singing the crap out of it. And you could tell that they're discovering their instruments and everything, but the amount of effort that they put into it, and just the fact that they even decided that they wanted to do something like that. It looked like they were playing in their parents' living room. So we all can relate to that. But to hear a 9-year-old kid singing 18 in Life, I mean, that song was written 36 years ago. 37 years ago. And so it's just really humbling that you get these people that are, taking the time to learn and play your song. Something that you helped create is just really, really humbling. And the cool thing is that whomever wins it gets one of my Kramer Snake guitars, which they'll probably use for firewood. And then we'll hopefully be able to do more of these in the future, because the response has been pretty incredible.
Now, I want to do a track by track with you guys sometime in the future when you got a little bit of time. I know you're backed up right now, and I want to go up through all the tracks of the debut record. But that song, 18 in Life, how long before you actually recorded that song was it written?
A while before. Yeah, at least 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that a lot of that stuff was written long before you even went in the studio, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it all was.
Yeah.
And you guys were playing this in bars and stuff for a couple of years?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Without doubt.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to talk about that record, because, man, what a great record. That just celebrated an anniversary, I think, in January or something. And speaking of anniversaries, Rachel, you just celebrated your birthday last year in Hawaii, or last month, I should say, in Hawaii. I celebrated my birthday this past Friday here in Detroit. So that's the difference between us.
Well, happy belated, man.
All right. We'll have to celebrate on Wednesday at the Motor City Casino Soundboard. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's always great to see you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, dude.